Well, hello everybody. I am J. Leonard J, and this is my personal 1965 Fender Deluxe amplifier. Well, welcome to another installment of Jay's Toolbox. This is actually a really fun segment that I do where I talk about the gear that I use personally on a day-to-day basis in all kinds of aspects of my musical life. And today's pick is something based off of things you've been asking me on the YouTube page, which is, what amp do I use in a lot of my demos? Well, about 8 out of 10 of my demos feature this baby right over here. This is my 1965 original Fender Deluxe Amp. Not Deluxe Reverb, this is a Deluxe Amp, so there's no reverb on it. You don't see a lot of these. There's a really fun story about how I got this amp. This amp was actually on sale at Rufus Guitar Shop, which is in Vancouver, a small, lovely, awesome place. And it's been sitting there. It was just sitting there for a long, long time. No one wanted to play it because it just didn't sound good. It didn't sound right. And the guy who actually put the guitar amp there was selling it on consignment. He moved to Japan and he wasn't around. He just wanted to get rid of it. And I came in one day and I plugged my guitar into it and I realized it wasn't really necessarily that broken. It was just that it sounded, at least, that the electrolytic capacitors have dried out a little bit, which is something really common for amps this old. So I just bought it for a steal, took it home, put about, 20 bucks worth of parts into it, and all of a sudden I've had this wonderful amp. And I'm telling you, I use this thing for everything, from YouTube videos, from my personal gigs when I'm playing at a mid-sized venue, all the way to recordings. It is just a versatile, lovely sounding piece of equipment. From a cabinet standpoint, you can tell that this amp is just not quite as wide as a Deluxe Reverb. So they shaved a couple inches off the sides, which is great to fit it in the car. Looking at the grill cloth, I am pretty sure that's been replaced. That seems to be aftermarket to me. Also, there's the old jewel knob over there. You can tell, obviously, that that's probably not stock either. Here's the old tube chart. As you can tell, there's a stamp on it with the letters O and C. C standing for March, O standing for 1965, so March 1965. The original owner installed an EV12L speaker into the amp, but I took that out and replaced it with a Cannabis Rex, mainly because the slightly rolled off top end of the Cannabis Rex just really complements my gain pedals and takes a little of the shrillness out of the vibrato channel. All right, so this is the underside of my amplifier. Over here, the transformers here point to a 1965 date. The fourth digit's a 5 here. We got a 5 as well, and a 4, so this is 1964. All works in the right period. These are my electrolytic capacitors. I changed them, obviously. These kept stock to 16 UF. And here is actually one of the differences between a Deluxe and a Deluxe Reverb. The stock Deluxe uses a 16 UF, whereas a Deluxe Reverb uses two 16 UFs in parallel, which makes it 32 UF. What I did with this is I actually beefed it all the way up to 47 UF, which makes it even less saggy and even more tighter than the Deluxe Reverb. But the big reason why I beefed this up is actually so it could handle modern power a little bit. Back in the day, there was 110 mains voltage, now it's 120, so there's more juice going through this amp. I put a big beefier electrolytic there just to protect it a little bit more. Well, this rat's nest is the inside of an old vintage Deluxe amp. You can see that I have changed the electrolytics that have gone bad, also a couple caps and stuff that have gone bad as well. There's a couple other mods that I've done inside this amp. One, I added a shielded cable right along here for the tremolo circuit. The reason why is because I was hearing some ticking, which means you could actually hear the ticking of the tremolo when I'm playing in the vibrato channel. By putting that shielded cable there, it actually gets rid of it. It's a cool little trick that I figured out. I added a resistor to each output tube to help with quick biasing, and I replaced the fuse when the plastic cracked, and I also disconnected the external power jack and the ground switch, opting instead to ground the power cable, which is good for everybody. I don't want to electrocute myself in the gig at all. Now, the one really big difference between a Deluxe Reverb and a Deluxe amp is that the vibrato channel on a Deluxe amp doesn't have the extra gain stage that you would see on a Deluxe Reverb. You see, a deluxe reverb actually needed an extra gain stage to help recover some of the tone lost from the reverb in the tremolo circuit. However, this one doesn't have it, which means that this vibrato channel stays cleaner a lot longer, has a little bit less gain, and a little bit of a different voice characteristics. On the normal channel, the tone is going to be pretty much the same. All right, so now that we know a little bit about what's going on underneath the hood, let's hear what it sounds like. This is a Fender Telecaster with Virgil Arlo pickups and Stringjoy strings. Let's start off with the vibrato channel. So, as I said earlier, the vibrato channel is missing that extra gain stage from the reverb circuit. So actually you'll find that this has a lot more headroom. It doesn't distort nearly as quickly as a standard Fender Deluxe. And you can even hear it. So this is see 2, 3, which is a nice, wonderful tone. Now let's go turn it up to 5. Now this is pretty much where a Deluxe is going to completely give out on you, start distorting, but no, you're still going to get an almost twin-like feel and response. Not lacking in harmonics, but just lacking in just gain. So it's very wonderful, especially if you're a pedal guy. Now that we got it here, let's go hear what that vibrato sounds like. Let's turn it on. You can even go nice and high. Let's see what that's like. Pretty fast. Awesome, awesome. Let's go hear what it sounds. So right now I do have the volume pretty much cranked, and let's turn up the trebles, turn down the bass a little bit. And it's still not as distorted as a Deluxe, but man, plenty nasty and mean. Now where the vibrato channel is a little bit cleaner, very, very lovely and almost twin-like, the normal channel is just good old Deluxe. You don't have the tremolo bearing down on the sound. It's just open, wide, and it distorts just like you remember those Deluxe reverbs. So you start with a nice clean tone on the normal channel here. But then once I get it up to about 4 or 5, it starts giving the goods. And then you turn it up, just pure. And that is my 1965 Fender Deluxe. Well, that is it. That is the demo. Thank you all so much for watching. Please keep commenting, subscribe to the page, get the notifications by ringing the bell icon. Pretty much the more eyes I have on the page, the more freedom I have to do videos like this and have fun on the page and keep coming up with content for all of you. My question for all you subscribers out there today is there any piece of equipment that you see me using all the time that I haven't necessarily done a toolbox video on? If anything comes to mind, please write it down. That being said, I guess I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.